My friends, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I feel like I'm on the verge of another reading slump. I feel like that's been the story of my life in the last couple of months. I haven't been reading bad books. In fact, the books that I have read so far in the month of May have all been like 4 and 5 stars, including a reread, one of my most anticipated new releases of 2025. Like, I'm reading great books. I just don't want to read. When I sit down and read, I'm really enjoying myself, but to go and pick up a book, I want to do anything else. Like, I will literally do laundry instead of picking up a book. So you know I'm not there. So I thought, what better way to get myself to read a book than with a reading challenge? I recently finished a reading challenge in which I've read 4,000 books in 14 days. You can catch that whole journey in my shorts. I had a great time. I got really close to reading the actual 4,000 pages, which I'm really proud of, and I read some great books. And that was like the majority of my reading in the month of April. So I feel like giving myself a challenge, giving myself a goal is the only way I'm going to get through reading my ridiculously long May TBR. Instead of doing a challenge like reading a certain amount of pages in a certain amount of time, well, I'm kind of doing that. I'm going to do a spinner wheel. I created a spinner wheel and I did a certain number of pages per day in increments of 25, starting with the number 50 up to, I don't know, 350, I think. And we'll just see what the spinner gives us, and that's how many pages I'm going to read today. I'm going to do this for a few days just to see like if I can kickstart myself back into reading. I've had a very busy month. I've had a very busy like 6 weeks, and I feel like we're kind of coming out of that. We have a little bit of a break, a little bit of a lull, teensy bit, before the summer starts. So I kind of want to like take advantage of this time to read a ton of books before we're in summer break, because summer break hits and my reading like cuts in half. So I really want to try to read as much as I can this month just for myself, because I know if I'm in a reading rut and then I go into summer break, like my reading will be non-existent. So that's unacceptable to me, and I need to do something. So we're gonna go ahead and spin this wheel for today. I honestly don't know how long I'm gonna do this challenge for. We're just gonna kind of see what happens, but let's go ahead and spin the wheel. I'm gonna put up a recording here so you can see it. I kind of want something high, but not too high. Okay, 50. That was not very much. That's like the lowest I can get, but it's something. I will probably read more than 50 if I'm in a good groove, but honestly, that's probably the best place to start for my mood, because I'm not wanting to read anyway. So if I have to sit down and read 50 pages, I'll at least read 50 pages. I don't even know what I'm going to read. That's my problem. I have a ridiculously long TBR. Don't know what I'm going to read. Probably something on Kindle Unlimited. Let me look at my TBR. What are we reading this month? Like, what did I say I was going to read this month? I don't know. I have a ridiculous long list. Okay. I kind of am in the mood for a contemporary romance because I feel like that's going to be very fast. So I think I'm going to read... I'm either going to go with False God or Burnout, both of which are contemporary romances. You know what? I think I'm going to go with False God. This is a billionaire romance by C.W. Farnsworth. She is the billionaire. He is like a wealthy or like famous British bachelor. I don't know if he's like royalty or celebrity or what have you. And I'm just really interested in that dynamic. I think it's going to be a fun time. Hopefully it's not too long, but I've been itching to kind of pick this up. It's on my 25 to read in 2025 this year, so that'll check that off the box as well. So, okay, first book up, False God by C.W. Farnsworth. Let's read 50 pages. Okay, my friends, it is the next day and I have some updates for you. I apologize I did not give you like a heads up when I hit 50 pages, but I could not stop reading False God. I am 357 pages into this book. I am shocked, like, how fast I'm flying through this. I think it just goes to show that my problem is not that I don't want to read. Like, when I pick a book up and I'm reading it, I'm really enjoying it. It's the actually picking up a book problem. And I just seem to find myself picking up anything but a book recently. So I think this challenge really is working because I'm flying through books, obviously. I don't know if I shared like the actual premise of this book with you, but essentially we're following Elizabeth Lilly. She is the billionaire heiress of Crewe and Scarlett Kensington, who are in Fake Empire. That's book 1 in the Kensington series. And she is kind of like, I wouldn't say lost, like she knows what her passion is. She's a landscape architect, but I do think she feels like people see her last name and her as an heiress, like someone with tons of money, and they don't really see her for who she is, like to her core as an actual person. And I think that that kind of bothers her. Obviously it would bother me too. And then we have Charlie, who is the newest Duke of Manchester, but his father did not tell him that they basically have no money, and he is really struggling to like keep his family afloat, and he doesn't want to tell anyone in his family. He kind of wants to protect them, mainly his younger sister. So he's like desperate to find a way to get rid of their debts and kind of be able to start over. And Charlie and Lily run into each other and they kind of have like a little flirty moment, and then he says something completely out of context and she hears it and she thinks it's about her, and so her walls immediately go up, and then they don't see each other for another year. And then they kind of like keep running into each other from various events in New York and England randomly, and so they just kind of like spark a little connection, and you can see that they're attracted to each other and that they are, I don't know, drawn towards each other because of their personalities. And I enjoy them both as characters. I will say it's not like that deep. I don't know what I'm not expecting something completely deep, but I think the way that they connect and like fall in love is very fast for me, and I'm just missing a little bit of like the tension that I usually like absolutely love in a romance book. And I don't think I was expecting tons of tension and yearning, but I feel like the first book in the series, Fake Empire, has a bit more yearning than this one does. So I'm just like, they're not my favorite couple, but I am enjoying it, obviously. Like, I could not stop reading last night, so I'm having a great time. I do think I wish that the author leaned a little bit more into like the billionaire side. Like, I want to see her do some like really outrageous things because she's a billionaire and I'm just not seeing that. So I wish I was a little bit more of that, but overall I'm having a great time. I am excited because there are 5 grandkids in this series, and books 1 and 2 are about brothers, and then books 3 through I'm assuming 7 are about all the grandkids. So each kid is going to have a romance. So I just like enjoy this world. I like being in this world. I like these characters and this family. So I'm having a good time. This book is over 400 pages, but I am like 80 something percent, 82%. So I'm probably going to finish this today. I spun my wheel earlier, and this is the page count. 250 pages today. It's already 2:30 and I have read 80 pages so far of this other book that I'm going to have to tell you about a little bit later because I have to go to pick up. But Passion Project, I was recommended this because it's giving Cara Bastone vibes, and I love Cara Bastone books, so I picked this up. I'm 80 pages into the audiobook and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'll give you like a better synopsis a little bit later because I have to go, but 250 pages today means we're going to get some more read on that, and we're going to read or finish False God. So I'll let you know when I do in fact finish that book and my final thoughts on False God. Okay, I am in the middle of making dinner, so I only have a couple of minutes, but I want to quickly talk about False God because I am at 94% in this book, and I still don't know how our main characters are going to like figure out how to be together. And that's just, a lot for me. This book is over 400 pages. I would feel like by this point they kind of have at least communicated, and I think that that's where I'm struggling in this book, is there's very little communication. Like, they both have feelings for each other but have not expressed those feelings for each other. At some point someone asked him, like, I didn't know you were dating so-and-so, and he's like, we're not dating. And I'm like, we're 85% into this book and you're still like haven't told each other how you feel. And there's kind of a large plot point with our MMC Charlie that he is struggling to figure out the entire book, and he still has not told Lily this problem, and he feels like he's figured it out and solved it, but I'm like, this is gonna come up and it's gonna bite you in the butt if you're not honest with her up front about this, because it's one of like her biggest insecurities about men dating her, and I feel like you're gonna need to explain this to her before you guys like express your feelings for each other. And he still hasn't said it, and I'm like, what's gonna happen in the next like 30 pages in which you guys figure this out? Like, we gotta wrap this up, and I feel like it's taken so long to get to this point, and it's gonna wrap up too quickly for my liking. So that's my main thing. They're not really talking. Like, they kind of talk, but like there's some bigger issues that they need to communicate, and even like their feelings, they still haven't confessed their feelings for each other. And I'm just not a fan of like the really long drawn out relationship and then they finally get together at the end. Like, I want to see some of that magic, you know? Like, I want to see them together, and we're getting that in private but not really in public, and that's what kind of is getting at me right now. It is much later. Kid is asleep. I have showered, and I have also finished False God on my Kindle. I want to give my final thoughts. I know that I have said a bit about this book and my feelings for this book. Overall, like, I had a good time reading this book, and I feel like I've been like teetering with this 3-star feeling recently in books. Like, if I feel like a book is going to be 3 stars, sometimes I'll keep reading it, sometimes I'll just DNF, because there are too many books out there that I have the potential to love to be spending my time on books that I'm not going to enjoy. Now, I don't think all 3 stars are bad. I don't think 3 stars is a bad rating. They're fine books, and some books have to be 3 stars. That's just how it is. However, I think there's a difference for me in like a disappointing 3-star and like a really enjoyable 3-star. I would say this one for me was an enjoyable 3-star. I think I was hoping for a little bit more angst. I'll say for me, C.W. Farnsworth as an author is kind of a mixed bag. Like, some of her books I absolutely love, cannot get enough, like 5-star feelings. And then the rest of them are kind of just like very mid for me. I would say there have been a couple that I have not liked at all. And overall, this book for me was kind of mid, but I do really enjoy the world that she's building in the Kensington series. And I do really enjoy like the characters and kind of the dynamic we have with the billionaires and the family that we're creating, and just kind of like how all of those dynamics work together. I think there were quite a few characters in this book that I could have done without, like didn't actually have a purpose. Our main character, Lily, has a group of friends that she's very close with, and I feel like we were spending a lot of time with them in the first half of the book, and then they just kind of like fall off and we never hear about them again, and that was a little interesting to me. But like, overall, I had a good time reading it. For me, that's like an enjoyable 3-star, and I'm okay with that. Like, it was on my list. I wanted to see it. I want to keep reading in this world. I will say book 2 in the series, I did DNF. Like, I did not care about it, and it was not a book that I was interested in. So you don't have to read everything. You don't have to read everything in a series. I can attest to that. And that is very hard for me. I feel like that's growth. I used to be the kind of person that had to read every book in a series in a row, like start from the beginning and read through the end. And I think sometimes you have to do that, especially in like a fantasy series, but like for standalone romance series, like I don't necessarily think you have to do that anymore. And I'm kind of letting that go in my life. Like, I don't need the pressure. It's fine. It doesn't matter. So that's a little tangent, but I read 75 pages in this book to finish it off, so that's done for today. And then, as I had said, I also read 83 pages of Passion Project, and I'm listening to this on audio, so I'm not going to continue reading this tonight. And I want to kind of sit with my thoughts for a bit and give you an update tomorrow on like a synopsis and my initial thoughts, because I'm still like kind of getting into the plot, if you will. But for me, it is definitely giving like Cara Bastone vibes, and I love Cara Bastone's writing. It is definitely more on like the heavy side. It's not like a rom-com. We are dealing with some kind of heavy topics. I'm actually really enjoying that in books these days because I feel like I need a little bit more depth, and this is totally delivering on that. So I'm very excited about where this is gonna go. Like, I feel like this has a lot of potential to be like a really good book for me. So this is good so far. I don't know what I'm going to pick up next. Can I do math in my head? I've read 158 pages today, so I have just under 100 pages to go. I'm not rolling over anything from yesterday, even though I read much more than my 50 pages, just because that's kind of the point of this challenge. So I need to find another book on my Kindle, I think. I have quite a few books on my KU TBR for the month, so I might read one of those. Do I want to read another romance while I'm listening to a romance, or do I want to kind of go like in the KU fantasy romance? So I have a few that I could possibly read. I have Metal Slinger, I have Amid Clouds and Bones, and I have House of Bane and Blood. Which one am I feeling? I don't know, I kind of want to check out Metal Slinger to see if I'll like it. That's one of those, like, this really blew up, I don't know, last year, and like occasionally I'll really enjoy a book that blows up on Book Talk or BookTube, but like most of the time it doesn't hit for me. So I'm curious to see if this is going to be a winner or not. So I think I'm going to try Metal Slinger. I know nothing about this book, but it was incredibly popular towards the end of last year. I feel like this book ended up on a lot of like best of 2024 BookTube lists. So I'm curious if I'm going to like it. It's almost 500 pages. That's okay. Is it going to be a fast read? I hope it's going to be a fast read. Okay, we'll see. I'm going to start this one, and I'll probably update you in the morning on how I'm feeling about it so far, and I'll give you like a brief synopsis on Passion Project as well. Good morning, my friends. It is the next day, and I have some reading updates for you. I did, in fact, finish my 250 pages last night. I read exactly 250 pages. By the time I hit the page mark in the book I was reading last night, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm so tired. I need to go to bed. And I'm surprised that I actually stayed up to read. I mean, I stayed up till like 10:15, so it wasn't that late, but I've been incredibly tired, and that's my own fault. I've been staying up too late. Anyways, I want to update you on current reads, on what we need to read today. I still need to pick a number. It is 10:20, so I gotta get on it in case I get something super high, which I am kind of hoping for because I am enjoying reading this week, which is a good thing. So I want to quickly talk about the audiobook I'm listening to. I'm currently listening to Passion Project by London Sperry, and I got pretty far. Well, I got like 80 pages yesterday, and last night or this morning I was listening to this on my walk, and I think I've gotten another, I don't know, I can't find my spot, maybe 50 pages. So far so good. Really enjoying this audiobook. I think the narrator for this book also is the narrator for a Cara Bastone book, which makes sense because it's giving like very similar vibes. It's emotional, it's heartwarming, it's sweet, it's a little humorous, but not like haha rom-com-y humorous, and it's just a really good time. Our main character, Bennett, is really struggling with the loss of her ex-boyfriend. He passed away. I don't know if they give a specific time frame, but it's been like a few years, at least 2 years, I think longer, maybe 3. And they were supposed to go to New York together and live this like glamorous life, but he passes away before she can do that. And so she ends up moving to New York like without him just to keep living their dream, and she is miserable. She's a temp worker. She doesn't have any friends. She's like very much a loner. She's got anxiety. She's got depression. And the book opens when she is set up on a first date by her roommate, and she ends up bailing. Like, she totally ghosts the guy because she has a panic attack outside the restaurant. She's like, I cannot do this. And she ends up at a different restaurant across the street and gets very drunk and kind of makes a fool of herself. She ends up leaving her wallet at the restaurant, and when she goes back to get her wallet, the guy that she was supposed to go on a date with is working there. And they kind of strike up an unlikely friendship. His name is Henry. He's very sweet. He's very like golden retriever-esque and kind of exactly what she needs. He suggests that, I'm so sorry for the noise, there is a house being built next door, so something we have to live with. He suggests that he helps her like find her passion, and they become friends, and he kind of takes her on all these adventures throughout New York City that she hasn't really experienced because she's basically gone from like work to home since she's moved there because depression. And it's just very fun. Like, he's kind of bringing out a new side of her, and she's realizing that like maybe not all people are bad and maybe I can make friends, but she's also still very much dealing with this grief, and it feels incredibly heavy sometimes. I think I'm getting to a part where I just feel like, okay, we've got to make some progress forward. Like, you are really struggling, like really struggling. We've got to kind of figure out some tools to get you through this. And I'm hoping that it's not like Henry getting her through this. I hope that he helps her and like walks with her as she figures out how to work her way through this grief. So that's where I'm currently at. I'm having a good time. The audiobook is excellent, so I'm not actually reading this physically because I'm really enjoying the audiobook. And I do have some other things that I need to do around the house today, so I'll probably get some more audiobook time in, which is great. But I do need to spin for today, so let's see what we get. I don't know. I want something high, but maybe not too high. I don't know, maybe too high. Maybe we'll just like shoot for the stars. Let's just go crazy, shall we? All right, let's spin here. Oh, this is not gonna be high at all. 75 pages. I feel like I've almost already read 75 pages. I kind of feel like I want to spin again. Let's do it. Okay, 200. Let's read 200 pages. That feels better. I feel like I've been getting, besides yesterday, well, I guess the first day, 50. I should have started higher to like not have these lower page counts, but 200, that's great. Let's read 200 pages today. And I'm going to jump back into Metal Slinger. I think I was reading that on my Kindle, and I kind of want a little bit longer into the book to give you a synopsis and my initial feelings because I'm still trying to figure out the world. I am kind of getting into it now. In the first like 25 pages, it took me so long to read because I just was not connecting at all. But now that we're kind of like figuring out the world, I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of get this. So I'll come back when I have like a better idea of what's going on and like where the book is going, because right now it's still very much like initial, like world building and such. So I'll come back to you when I have an update, but 200 pages, that feels really good. Fingers crossed that we can actually get it done since I did respin, but I'm feeling good since I have an audiobook and a book on Kindle that I can make this happen. I have officially read 150 pages of Passion Project, and I'm loving this book so much. It's so sweet. Like so swoony. I also feel like our main character Bennett is finally getting a little bit of help. She is realizing some things, talking through some things that she needs to process, and I think it's really good for her. We still have a couple of like big steps for her to take, but I'm loving the direction this is going. The audio is so fantastic, and I want to keep listening to this, but I know I'm going to have some audiobook time tomorrow, so I want to save this so I can finish this tomorrow. So I'm going to switch over to my Kindle book, which is Metal Slinger. I got about, I don't know, 90 something pages into that one last night, so I need to read 50 more pages today to complete my 200 pages for today. And as I said, I want to give like a little bit more time before I give you a synopsis, but this is a fantasy romance. It's the first in a series, I believe, but our main like premise is that this group of people that our main character is a part of like lives on the water. They are not land bound, and they are like mortal enemies with the group of people who do live on the land, and they like have some sort of like centuries long feud where they're not allowed to be on the land, and like they can only go on land for certain circumstances. Our main character ends up on land for her like one time in her life that she can go, and a man like finds her, follows her, and is like trying to get her to stay on the land, but she obviously does not want to. So they cause like a huge scene. There's like this big fight, and they end up like kind of blowing up part of this marketplace, and she is forced to leave and go back to her home people, and there's like all these questions about what's going on and what happened, and there's something that's like going on that you're like, okay, is there a reason why he didn't want her to leave? Like, what's going on there? There's also like the captain, or I guess the commander's son, and he is in love with our FMC and has like asked for her hand in marriage, and she's like, okay, this is a good match, but you can tell it's like that first matchup in a fantasy romance that you're like, this isn't it, there's someone else coming. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm very like confused about the world and like this dynamic we have between these two groups of people and what like the deal is with our FMC. So I'm hoping to get some of that right now. I have 50 pages left to read. It's like 9 o'clock, so I have a little bit of time. It's not too late, which is good. And I'll let you know probably in the morning some like more in-depth thoughts on Metal Slinger, because I feel like that like scenario, that synopsis was a little haphazard at best. I apologize, but those are like my initial thoughts. Let's get to reading. Good morning, or should I say afternoon. It is almost 1:30, and this is the first time I'm checking in for the day. I have been incredibly busy. It's also very hot here. It's like the first really warm day we've had in LA in, I don't know, the whole year. I am going to the beach after school pickup with a couple of friends, which should be really fun. A nice Friday afternoon beach day is like the perfect way to end the school week, but I need to give you some updates. I'm currently making a pie crust, so apologies, but it's my husband's birthday tomorrow, and his favorite thing that I make is my peach pie, so I thought I would make one for him. But I do make my crust from scratch, so it's a lot of labor. But I wanted to give an update while I was doing this because I did in fact read my 200 pages yesterday. I am, I don't know, maybe almost 200 pages into Metal Slinger, and I feel like it's going in a direction that I did not expect at all, and I'm kind of really into it. I am curious to see, they're on a little bit of a journey, and our main character, and I'm interested to see like how everything is going to play out. There is some stuff happening that's like, who is telling the truth here kind of thing, like something that she's heard her whole life as opposed to something that this other group of people is telling her about her childhood and her history, and she's like, well, who do I believe? And I think that's a really interesting setup for like some tension. So I think as they get a little bit further into like the political intrigue and the main plot of everything, like I think it's gonna be really interesting as it comes out. So I'm having a good time. It's a really fast read. Like I think once I sit down and actually read it, it's really fast, but I'm dealing with the same issue I was dealing with before, which is why I started this video, is like I don't want to sit down and read. So I'm leaning into audiobooks a little bit. I did finish Passion Project earlier today just because I've been like running errands and doing chores around the house and stuff, so I was listening to that. Also already chose my pages for the day, and I got 200 pages again, so I have to read about 100 pages of Metal Slinger later today, which I don't think should be a problem. As I said, like once I get into it, I'm really into it. Like it's a very fast-paced read. I just need to actually like pick it up. And I think my problem is gonna be like, I'm about to pick up my kid from school, we're going to the beach, it's family night, so like after bedtime, I'm just gonna sit down and try to crush it out. But that's gonna be the end of this video because it's the weekend and I don't do well vlogging on the weekend. So we're gonna end this challenge today. We have to read 200 pages. I'm really proud of myself that I've actually been reading this week. And I also want to give my final thoughts on Passion Project because I randomly, well, I put this on hold at the library because somebody that I am friends with recommended it to me, and she was like, if you like Cara Bastone, you should read this book, which I do like Cara Bastone, so I picked it up, and it was really good. It was very similar to Promise Me Sunshine, like not too similar, but like same kind of concept. Like our FMC is dealing with some grief, and she meets someone who for their own reasons is like trying to help them process this grief and kind of like find her passion again, essentially passion project. And I loved like all of their little passion projects. They go throughout the entire city of New York and just do a bunch of like really cool stuff, and I thought that that was really fun. I think that there's a lot of discussion about grief and how we can feel guilty even in our grief of like what could have been, or did we have some effect on what has happened, and like our actions making an impact on how someone passes away or whatever the case may be. And I think that that was a really interesting discussion. I think I never want to minimize someone's grief. I never want to like say that someone is grieving wrong or improperly because that's unfair to that person. I do think that it took quite a long time in the book for her to kind of like figure some stuff out. I wish that she had, I don't know, gotten to a couple of the conclusions earlier on in the book, because for me it felt like a little bit draggy. I don't know, just like a teensy bit, like she'd kind of get something and then she'd revert back. And I totally get that. Like I understand as someone who has grieved a huge loss in their life, like I understand that you make baby steps forward and then you take huge leaps back and you feel like you're starting over. But I think that for the sake of like how long this book was, I feel like there was so much happening that like she discovered in one moment, like at the very end of the book. And I was like, okay, I feel like this is a really big leap when like you've been in this like depression grief state for so long. Like this feels like a really big jump. Like I wish I would have seen it all kind of unfold over like a more gradual period of time, if that makes sense. So not necessarily like I'm not discounting her grief at all. I just wish in the timeline of the story it had been a little bit more gradual. I hope that makes sense. Like I don't want to offend anyone or like say that she did it incorrectly, because that is not what I'm saying at all. I just think in the narrative of the story. So those are my only thoughts. There is a Henry in this book. It's the main character, the male main character, and I just loved him so much. I think he was like her perfect match, and it frustrated me sometimes that she like couldn't see that. And you know, those are my personal thoughts, but I thought it was very sweet. If you like Cara Bastone's writing, if you like a little bit more of like an emotional romance with like some heavier tones with a happily ever after, I highly recommend Passion Project. So go ahead and check that out. It's very new. It came out, I don't know, in April sometime, I believe. So highly recommend. But I am going to go finish this pie crust. I need to prep for the beach. I need to go to the beach. And I will check back with you, I don't know, later tonight when I'm picking up Metal Slinger and see if I have any like other thoughts. I wanted to finish that book in this vlog because I hate leaving off a book. So I don't know, are we gonna stay up till 2 a.m. reading Metal Slinger? Who knows, we shall see. it's time to finish up this little reading vlog of mine, and I'm so glad I did this little challenge. This was actually a really spontaneous reading vlog for me. I was not planning on doing this challenge video this month, but I just felt like I needed something to like jumpstart my reading again, and I feel like this is kind of where I'm at right now in my reading. Like, I'm just not eager to pick up books, but once I pick them up, I'm really into it, and this video is testament to that. In the last 4 days, I have read 1,104 pages, which is like incredible. I really got into my reading once I was into it, and I feel like I read more than my allotted pages every day once I was like actually reading. So I'd say this challenge was a total success. I quickly want to talk about the books that I read and what I'm currently reading, and then we'll kind of finish this out because I'm going to start another challenge video after this one. I'm going to start a 24-hour reading challenge. I feel like I'm just going to keep going with these challenges because that's the only thing that's getting me to read right now, and that's fine. Like, if that's what gets me to read, and it's not like I'm not having a good time, like I'm enjoying when I'm reading, I'm just not wanting to read, so I'm just gonna keep it going, and hopefully I can get out of this funk before summer. I don't know, we shall see. Anyways, let's quickly talk about the books that I did finish and did read in this vlog. I started out this vlog with reading False God by C.W. Farnsworth. I think I ended up giving this book 3 stars. It was a good time. It was nothing incredible. I had some issues with it, but nothing that was like problematic, just something that didn't work for me, which is fine, but this was a good time. I'm glad I read it. I really enjoyed this world, and I'm excited for the next book in the series. Like, I will definitely pick it up, so I don't know, it was like a solid 3-star for me. That's fine. And then I read Passion Project, and this was so cute. It was giving Cara Bastone vibes. This was definitely more on the emotional side. There's a lot of heavy topics. We're dealing with some grief. We're dealing with some depression, anxiety. We're also dealing with like that phase of your life where you don't really know what you're passionate about and you don't know what to do, and you're just feeling like you're kind of floating, and life circumstances has led you a certain way and now you feel like you're stuck. And I have definitely been in that place in my life, so I could see this book for what it was. Like, I feel like I wish I had read this book, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe. I feel like it would have helped me so much more in my life, but for where I'm at in my life now, like, I could recognize this for what it is and be grateful for it, but I don't know if it hit as hard for me as it would have if I had read it 10 years ago. This book was not around 10 years ago. It came out last month, but you get what I'm saying. So I think I'm gonna give this book 4 stars. I had a really great time. I think if you are in that phase of life, definitely pick this up. You will feel seen. You will have some hope. There will be a little bit of an emotional journey, but like overall, it definitely felt hopeful. So I highly recommend. And then last but not least, I got through like 70% of Metal Slinger, I want to say. I don't know, I've read a little bit since Friday, so I'm having a little bit of a hard time like figuring out where I'm at, but I think I read like 70% on Friday, and I'm really enjoying this book so far. I think for me right now, it's like vibes are like 4 stars. The writing and the way that the world is being built and some of the characters are interacting is like 3 stars. So I don't know, take that with what you will. Like, I'm enjoying the vibes, like it's a good time, I'm enjoying the ride, but some of the things that the characters are saying and some of the things that they do around each other like kind of turn me off a little bit. I feel like there's a little bit of a like an alpha vibe. I don't know. Some of the things that our male main character is saying and the way that he is acting, I don't love. So I don't know if that's the way that I'm interpreting it through the writing style, or if he's got some of those tendencies. There's something about it that like is not vibing with me. I'm not into it. I'm not loving that. So it's a little bit lower on the rating scale for me, but overall, like, I see why this book is getting so much hype. I'm having a good time. I'll probably finish it today. So like, I'm vibing. I'm having a good time. I'm glad I picked it up just to see what the hype is about. I think I'm liking it more than I thought I would, which is always a plus in my mind, but over 1,100 pages read for this vlog is a win in my book. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a wonderful day, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one soon. Bye!